This tree is Pyrus kawakamii, and it is a very popular tree in a lot of California. They use these a lot in San Luis Obispo, where I went to school, and certainly in Northern California in the Bay Area, they're used a lot. So it's Evergreen Pear is its common name, and it's semi-deciduous. In milder areas like San Luis Obispo or coastal areas, it will keep a lot of its leaves most of the year. And in inland areas where I live, where it gets cold during the winter, down in the 20s, it will drop most of its leaves. But in a mild winter, it will keep some of them. It also blooms profusely in the spring, early spring, because it's so sensitive to a little flush of warmth that many times in this inland area, it will do a full bloom as early as February, because we'll have a little warm weather and it thinks it's spring. So kind of an odd timing compared to the other flowering pear varieties. This is a good example of this tree for a couple of reasons. If you'll look, it has kind of a sprawling branching pattern, and that's one of the things about this tree that I find challenging. It doesn't have a form that you can really predict. Here's a taller one over here, and these three, none of them look the same because the branches sprawl all over the place, whether they're young or old. And by the way, that's about a 40-foot tree, so these get pretty tall. I see these used in residential applications a lot. My neighbor just had one put in a couple of years ago, and it's a lot of tree. I had 3 of these in my old property, and one of them split in half one year. So let me talk about what I don't like, because there's a lot that I don't care for, and I just think that there are better trees, and if you're an informed designer, this probably wouldn't be one that you would select. The main thing that this has an issue with is it has some moisture-related fungus hits the leaves, and you get little black spots all over the leaves. So if you use this in a place that's coastal, like in Monterey, where my parents live, their plant has never looked happy since their first landscaper put it in years ago. I keep trying to get them to take it out. This is not a tree that I would hold on to. It needs a good winter, in my opinion, to look its best. And then what happens in an inland area where you get a winter and it goes dormant is because it leaves out so early, the leaves are still on there when it starts it's still raining in the late spring. And especially if you get rain as late as May, what will happen is the fungus will take over the leaves, and I actually had my entire yard covered in leaves in June one year, because what the plant will do is it will shed all of its leaves to try and eliminate the black spot that's all over its foliage. So none of the other pears behave this way or seem to get this fungus that hits these leaves on the evergreen pear, and for that reason alone, I don't think it's a desirable tree. It just and then secondly, it's very hard to manage the shape of this tree. As you can see, these things are all over the map, and you can see the older branches on there they're just kind of twisted and gangly and heading in all types of directions. So as a tree option, there's certainly better choices, and the reason I'm doing this video series is I'm trying to guide people towards stronger, better plants for your design options. And see, these leaves are covered. So it's September 12th, and we haven't had rain in 4 months at least. And there's still the spotty stuff going on these leaves. And if you look down on the ground, there's still leaves falling. This bed here has tons of them in there. See the spots on there? That's what I was referring to. And it's just kind of a perpetual headache with this plant. So enough of the downside on this tree. I don't think there's enough upside to really be using it, as you can tell. And here's the bark, by the way. Nothing to write home about. And that's what I'm going to tell you about Pyrus kawakamii, Evergreen Pear. Take a look at some other options. There's definitely better ones out there.